Artificial intelligence is fundamentally revolutionizing healthcare across the globe, marking one of the most significant advances in modern medicine. This transformative impact is underscored by the global AI healthcare market, which is projected to reach an astounding $188 billion by 2030. AI is already deeply integrated into various aspects of healthcare, from diagnosing diseases and suggesting treatments to managing healthcare systems and hospital workflows. On this week's episode of AI Ascent with Dr. Jonathan Luckett, we provide a comprehensive overview of how smart algorithms are analyzing complex medical data, such as images, genetic information, and electronic health records, to help doctors and patients make better decisions. It delves into AI's role in enhancing clinical care, streamlining non-clinical and administrative tasks, accelerating drug discovery and personal treatment plans, and expanding access to care, particularly in underserved areas. As we delve deeper, you'll discover how AI acts as an augmented intelligence, a powerful partner to human professionals. It handles data-heavy tasks at superhuman speeds, freeing up clinicians to focus on the human side of care. AI is truly a powerful new instrument in the medical toolbox, poised to deliver better, faster, and more personalized care worldwide. Are you ready to ascend? Let's go.
Imagine this for a second. A machine spotting a life-threatening stroke way faster than human experts, actually shaving crucial minutes off treatment time.
Yeah.
Or picture an AI identifying like over 50 different eye diseases with this incredible 94% accuracy, basically matching top specialists.
It sounds like science fiction, doesn't it? But it's not.
Exactly. This isn't some far-off future glimpse. It's actually happening right now. It's transforming healthcare as we speak. Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is your shortcut, your personalized way to get truly well-informed on these big topics.
And today, we're really diving deep into artificial intelligence in healthcare.
Yeah.
AI.
Yeah, our mission is, to cut through all the hype, all the noise, give you a really clear, thorough understanding of what it's being used for.
The applications, yeah.
The amazing benefits, but also the essential challenges we really need to talk about.
Definitely.
Think of it as your express lane, basically, to understanding this field because it's moving so fast.
It really is. And at its core, AI in healthcare. Well, it's about computer systems learning from data. They make predictions or decisions, tasks that usually need human intelligence.
Right.
So here we're talking smart algorithms. They analyze really complex medical info like images, genetic data, even electronic health records.
Okay.
And it's all designed to help doctors and patients too make better, more informed decisions.
And the scale of this change, it's already huge. The World Health Organization, they point out AI's role pretty much everywhere.
Across the board.
Diagnosis, clinical care, drug development, tracking diseases, even managing whole health systems. But here's the really compelling part, I think the money side. This isn't just like future speculation.
Yeah, it's real business.
The global AI healthcare market, it's projected to hit nearly $188 billion by 2030.
Wow.
And what's really striking, hospitals are already seeing returns, like 79% using AI solutions. They're generating $3.20 for every single dollar they invest within 14 months. So the takeaway isn't just the sheer amount of money flowing in, it's that AI is already a proven financial engine. It's delivering tangible, fast returns. And that's what's driving this adoption right now.
That makes sense. So in this deep dive, we're going to explore how AI is changing things both in direct patient care.
The stuff you see.
Exactly. And also let's call it the administrative backbone of healthcare, the stuff behind the scenes.
Right.
Then, importantly, we'll take a critical look, at the opportunities, yes, but also the crucial safeguards we absolutely need.
Okay, so let's dive right into the specifics then. How exactly is AI making a real, tangible difference, right there at the front lines of medical care?
Well, one of the most immediate impacts, and it's pretty profound, is in medical imaging and diagnosis.
Okay, like X-rays and scans.
Exactly. AI systems can review X-rays, CT scans, MRIs, and they can detect abnormalities with a speed and often an accuracy that can rival, sometimes even beat, human experts.
That's fascinating. Can you give us some concrete examples? See it in action.
Absolutely. One really striking one is the work between Google DeepMind and Moorfields Eye Hospital in London.
Okay.
Their AI looked at retinal scans and identified over 50 eye diseases, and it did it with 94% accuracy.
Wow, 94%.
Yeah, matching top specialists. And what that means is urgent cases get flagged much, much faster, so treatment starts sooner, often preventing vision loss.
That's huge. And in the U.S., there are tools like Viz.ai, right?
Yeah.
Used for stroke detection.
That's another great example. Viz.ai analyzes brain scans in minutes to spot strokes. Mount Sinai Hospital used it, and the software alerted specialists to a blood clot, like way faster than usual.
Literally shaving minutes off.
Crucial minutes, because during a stroke, well, every minute of delay means about 2 million brain cells die.
2 million.
So that AI-driven speed, it can quite literally save lives. And this tech, it's already FDA cleared for, I think, over a dozen algorithms now, not just stroke.
Okay, so it's pretty established then.
And it goes beyond just the alerts, too. AI is broadly enhancing radiology by highlighting things like subtle tumors or tiny fractures on scans.
Things that might be missed.
Potentially, or even creating super high-resolution images from, say, lower-quality scans. What's really fascinating isn't just the speed, though. It's the potential for consistency.
Right, machines don't get tired.
Exactly. And they might even detect things the human eye just overlooks. We're seeing some pretty striking statistics now.
Like what?
Well, AI detecting lung nodules with 94% accuracy compared to maybe 65% for radiologists in some studies. Or breast cancer detection, 90% sensitivity for AI versus 78% for human experts.
Those are big differences.
They are. But it's important to stress this isn't about replacing the experts. It's about adding this powerful new layer of assistance. Making good doctors even better.
So whether it's eyes or strokes, the core idea is AI as this super-powered visual assistant.
Yeah.
Extending what doctors can see. But that's images. What about all the text? The patient notes, symptoms. How does AI handle all that non-visual stuff?
Right. Good question. Beyond images, AI is actually incredibly good at sifting through text data.
Okay.
Things like patient-reported symptoms or just vast amounts of medical charts. Think about those AI-powered symptom checker apps.
Oh, yeah, I've seen those, like Ada Health.
Exactly. Ada Health is a big one, used by over 13 million people. These apps guide you through questions, suggest possible causes. Now, importantly, they don't give a final diagnosis.
Right, they're not doctors.
No, but they do help people figure out if they maybe need to seek professional care sooner rather than later.
And hospitals themselves are using this on their records too, right? I read something about Stanford.
Yes. Stanford researchers trained what's called a large language model, basically, an AI that's really good with text.
Like ChatGPT, kind of.
Similar idea, yeah. They fed it 16,000 pediatric charts, and it found these subtle patterns in ADHD follow-up care, catching gaps in treatment, things that would take in humans many months to spot manually.
Wow. Just by crunching the text.
It really shows how AI can find these overlooked opportunities just by analyzing massive data sets.
So it helps with diagnosis.
Aha.
What about figuring out the treatment?
That too. AI is significantly supporting doctors in choosing treatments. It does this by analyzing just vast amounts of medical research and patient data simultaneously.
How does that work in practice?
Well, take cancer care. AI can suggest personalized treatment options. It compares a specific patient's tumor genetics, their health records, against thousands of previous cases and clinical trials.
So it finds similar cases.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
IBM Watson, for example, has been used in oncology for this, though, of course, doctors always vet the suggestions. It's a tool, not the decision maker.
And it's speeding up drug discovery as well, isn't it? I heard about AlphaFold.
Oh, AlphaFold is a huge one. Google's DeepMind again. It predicted the structures of tens of thousands of human proteins.
And that used to take ages.
Years. Scientists spent years on just one sometimes. AlphaFold did it in days. That's a total game changer for drug researchers.
Also,
because understanding protein structure is key to designing drugs. And now AI can also screen millions, literally millions, of chemical compounds super fast to find promising drug candidates. It just shrinks the timeline dramatically.
incredible. So faster diagnosis, better treatment planning, quicker drug discovery.
Yeah.
What about, like, monitoring patients?
Yep. AI is enhancing patient monitoring, too, both in the hospital and actually at home.
Okay. Yeah.
In ICUs, for instance, algorithms can track vital signs constantly and alert staff to really subtle signs of deterioration, maybe hours in advance.
Hours. What kind of things?
Things like the risk of sepsis or cardiac arrest. It flags those risks before they become critical emergencies.
Wow. And surgery. You hear about robots and surgery.
Right. There are smart AI-assisted robots. They can help surgeons with highly precise movements or provide real-time guidance during an operation.
Like mapping where to cut.
Exactly, or highlighting specific anatomy. But, crucially, the surgeon is always in full control. It's assistance, not automation of the surgeon.
Okay. But AI isn't just for, critical care or surgery. You mentioned at home. How is it reaching us, the average person?
Think about wearable devices, like the Apple Watch.
Right. It tracks heart rate.
And more. It uses AI algorithms. Some were even developed with the Mayo Clinic to detect things like irregular heart rhythms, AFib,
Oh, okay.
or even signs of a weak heart pump, just from a simple ECG reading you can take on the watch.
Really? It can do that?
Yeah, a Mayo Clinic study showed it had 93% accuracy for detecting this specific silent heart condition. That's actually higher than some routine tests.
That's amazing. So earlier detection.
Potentially life-saving treatment, much earlier. It really makes you stop and think, doesn't it? How a machine can process info so fast, giving doctors an edge maybe no human could achieve alone.
Yeah, definitely.
And many hospitals are integrating AI into what they call clinical decision support systems, or CDSS.
CDSS. What that?
Think of it as augmented intelligence, like a super fast, super smart research assistant for the doctor. It can pull up relevant medical studies instantly, compare the current patient's case to similar past ones, even help draft notes.
So it saves time, helps organize info.
Exactly. Mayo Clinic's cardiology department, for example, uses AI for multimodal analysis. That means the AI combines all sorts of data notes, lab results, imaging, even genetic info.
All of it together.
To predict a patient's risk of heart failure. It provides alerts or recommendations, but again, doctors always make the final call.
Right.
But this actually raises a really important question. If the AI is kind of a black box, its reasoning is hard to follow.
Yeah, how does it get to that answer?
Exactly. How do doctors trust it? That transparency issue, that's a key challenge developers are really working hard on now.
Yeah.
For the doctor's trust and also, for your comfort as a patient.
That makes sense. You want to know why a decision is being made?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about how AI is directly impacting, the doctor, the diagnosis, the treatment plan. But what about everything else? That whole invisible machinery that makes healthcare actually function day to day.
Right. The behind-the-scenes stuff.
Yeah. This is where AI's impact gets incredibly broad, right?
Right.
Quietly reshaping the whole foundation. So what does this mean for how hospitals operate and ultimately for your experience when you are a patient?
Well, a huge area is hospital administration and just workflow. AI is automating so many of those really time-consuming admin tasks.
Paperwork.
Mountains of it, freeing up clinicians. There's a company, Ambience Healthcare. They offer an AI co-pilot.
The co-pilot.
Yeah. It listens in during a patient visit with consent, of course, and it automatically generates the notes, fills in the electronic health record fields, even drafts the billing codes.
Officially. All automatically.
Pretty much. It's used in about 40 health systems now, places like UCSF Health.
Yeah.
And the doctors using it. They estimate saving 2 to 3 hours per day just on documentation.
2 to 3 hours every day.
Yeah. Think about what that means for burnout. And it lets them spend more actual time with patients.
That's massive.
Yeah.
I saw a survey, I think, from the American Medical Association.
The AMA, yeah.
Said 57% of doctors see reducing that admin burden as AI's biggest short-term opportunity.
I believe it. You can almost think of AI becoming this, unseen air traffic controller for the hospital.
How so?
Optimizing operating room schedules, figuring out patient bed assignments more efficiently, reducing wait times. Johns Hopkins Hospital, for example, they partnered with Microsoft Azure AI to automate documentation and lab management. The estimated savings were huge, like $200 to $360 billion across the system eventually. These aren't just small tweaks, they're major operational shifts.
Billions.
Yeah.
Just from streamlining things.
Okay,
what about how patients interact with the system?
Right, patient engagement. AI-powered chatbots and virtual health assistants are becoming really common now.
You see them on websites sometimes.
Exactly. Automated agents for booking appointments or just finding basic info. During COVID, remember, The WHO and the US CDC use chatbots for symptom screening.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
The UK's NHS is using AI triage apps now to try and reduce the load on emergency rooms. And AI assistants are also helping people manage chronic diseases, medication reminders, coaching on diet, exercise, that sort of thing.
Okay, so it's becoming a first point of contact almost.
In some ways, yeah. And this leads us to a growing and sometimes sensitive area: mental health chatbots.
Like Wobot or Wysa.
Exactly those kinds. Now, they're definitely not replacements for professional therapy, let's be clear.
Right.
But they use AI to simulate conversation and teach things like cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT techniques for anxiety or depression.
Well, the appeal is.
They offer judgment-free support. They're always available 24/7, and they usually have safety nets built in to prompt human help if there's a crisis. It's an interesting supplement to traditional care.
Yeah, interesting. What about that generative AI, like the ChatGPT stuff? Is that being used beyond chatbots?
Oh, absolutely. It's starting to pop up in administration, too. Mayo Clinic, again, they started using a GPT-based system to help staff handle the flood of patient emails and messages, routine questions.
So the AI drafts replies.
Yeah, it generates a draft reply for things like, say, mild medication side effects. Then a nurse or doctor reviews it, edits if needed, and sends it.
And how's that working out?
The results are pretty remarkable. In just 11 months, that system drafted nearly 4 million responses.
4 million?
Yeah. It saved nurses about 30 seconds per message. That adds up to 1,500 hours saved every single month.
Wow.
And apparently, patients often can't tell the difference. Doctors appreciate the help, especially with getting the phrasing just right, empathetic.
That's really practical.
And beyond just text generation, AI language translation is helping hospitals serve diverse populations better. Instantly translating discharge instructions, educational materials, it really improves patient understanding.
Okay, so AI is scanning brains, drafting emails, translating instructions. It's like the ultimate multitasker, right?
Yeah.
Working behind the scenes.
That's a good way to put it. It's definitely playing a big role on the purely operational side, too.
Like managing the hospital itself.
Exactly. Predictive algorithms. They can forecast patient volumes. For example, predicting an asthma surge based on weather patterns or pollen counts.
So they can staff accordingly.
Right. Or plan for flu season spikes. Allocate enough staff, enough beds in advance.
That makes sense. What else?
Inventory management. Tracking supplies, automatically reordering when things get low so you don't run out of crucial items.
Like bandages or masks?
Exactly. Even predicting when complex equipment, like an MRI scanner, needs maintenance before it breaks down. Minimizing downtime.
Proactive maintenance.
Right. These might sound like small things, but add them all together, and they contribute to a much smoother running, more efficient healthcare system.
Any examples of this in action at scale?
Well, Apollo Hospitals in India, they're one of the largest private chains in Asia. They're really aggressively embracing AI. Automating documentation, saving doctors and nurses, again, 2-3 hours daily. And their AI also analyzes records to suggest diagnoses and treatments, which is incredibly important in countries where healthcare workers are often really overstretched.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so we've explored all these different ways AI is being used. Clinical care, admin, operations. Let's try and pull it all together. What does this mean for the bigger picture, globally, and, for you listening?
Right, the takeaway benefits. Let's summarize those advantages we've seen.
Okay.
First and foremost, it's got to be faster and earlier diagnosis. AI speed just leads to quicker identification of problems.
Which is critical in emergencies.
Absolutely. And also for early detection of diseases like cancer or diabetic eye disease, that directly improves patient outcomes.
Okay, speed and early detection. What else?
Improved accuracy and consistency. We touched on this. AI algorithms, when they're trained well, can match or even beat human accuracy for specific tasks.
Then they don't get tired.
Exactly. No fatigue, consistent criteria applied every time. That reduces errors significantly. And we saw that stat, 68% of physicians acknowledge AI's benefits here.
Right. Then there's the personalized treatment aspect.
AI is amazing at finding patterns in huge data sets. That's the engine behind precision medicine. Analyzing your specific genetics, lifestyle, past cases to predict the best treatment just for you. Less trial and error.
Makes sense. And efficiency.
Huge gains in efficiency and reducing workload. Automating routine tasks, as we saw, saves so much time for medical staff.
Those 2 hours a day for doctors.
Right. That fights burnout. And ultimately, it has the potential to lower overall healthcare costs.
Okay. And finally, access.
Yes, expanding access to care. This is a big one. AI, especially when combined with things like telemedicine and chatbots,
Right.
can bring basic health guidance and screening to underserved areas, remote places. And AI translation helps break down language barriers. The WHO really sees AI as this powerful tool to, quote, promote equitable health for all.
Okay, so the promise is huge. Faster, more accurate, personalized, efficient, accessible. It sounds amazing.
It does offer incredible promise.
And there's always a but, isn't there?
Well, yeah. As with any really powerful tool, there are significant limitations and serious concerns we absolutely have to address for it to be implemented responsibly.
So this raises the crucial question. What are the pitfalls? What do we need to be really vigilant about as this tech becomes more common?
Okay, number one is probably data quality and bias. This is fundamental.
How so?
AI systems are only as good as the data they learn from. If that data is incomplete, or if it's biased, or if it doesn't represent everyone,
Then the AI's results will be biased too.
exactly. The outputs will reflect those flaws. There was a study in Northwestern, I think, looking at AI for skin cancer detection.
Okay.
If it was trained mostly on pictures of light-skinned patients, it performed poorly on darker skin tones. It could potentially miss diagnoses, making existing health disparities even worse.
That's a serious problem.
It is. Then you have privacy and security. Health data is about as sensitive as it gets.
Yeah, extremely personal.
Training these AI models requires just massive amounts of patient information, images, records, genetic data. That raises huge concerns about data breaches or misuse.
Hackers.
Definitely. You need incredibly strong safeguards, things like HIPAA in the US, GDPR in Europe, and constant vigilance, that AMA survey we mentioned. Data privacy and having proper oversight were the top needs physicians cited for trusting AI.
Understandable. We're talking about our most private information here.
Absolutely. Then there's the issue of explainability. The black box problem.
Right, we talked about that briefly.
Yeah.
The AI gives an answer, but you don't know how.
Precisely. Many advanced AI models work in ways that are hard to interpret, sometimes even for their creators. They give a prediction, but not a clear step-by-step reason why.
And that's a problem because...
Ethically and practically, doctors need to be able to explain their reasoning to patients. If an AI flags something concerning but can't clearly articulate why, a doctor might hesitate to act.
Or act without fully understanding the basis.
Which is also risky. Now, some systems are trying to show their work, become more transparent, but it's definitely not standard yet.
Okay, so data bias, privacy, the black box. What else?
Regulatory and liability issues. These are complex.
How does the law keep up?
It's tough. Agencies like the FDA in the US are evaluating AI medical devices. But these adaptive algorithms, the ones that keep learning and changing after they're deployed, they pose new challenges for oversight. How do you regulate something that's constantly evolving?
Good point. And liability, if something goes wrong.
Exactly. If an AI makes a mistake and a patient is harmed, who's accountable? The developer, the hospital, the doctor who used the tool. It's a legal gray area right now.
And that probably makes doctors hesitant.
It can, yeah. There's also the flip side, the risk of de-skilling. If clinicians rely too heavily on AI, they might lose some of their own diagnostic sharpness over time.
That's a subtle danger.
And finally, just basic safety and reliability. AI tools can and absolutely do make mistakes.
They're not perfect.
Far from it. An NIH study looked at a cutting-edge model, GPT-4 Vision, using it for medical quiz questions.
Okay.
It was often accurate in the final answer, but it frequently made errors in describing the images or in its reasoning process. Sometimes it couldn't even tell that two photos were of the same condition just because the lighting was different.
Wow. So it doesn't really understand.
That's the key takeaway.
Yeah.
AI doesn't truly understand medicine like a human does. It finds statistical patterns, and sometimes those patterns can be misleading. There's also something called drift, where an AI model becomes less accurate over time because disease patterns change or medical practices evolve, and the model hasn't been updated. ECRI, a big patient safety organization, actually named AI as one of the top health technology hazards for 2024 because of these risks.
Okay, so a lot to be conscious about then. Bias, privacy, transparency, regulation, reliability.
Definitely. It's a balancing act.
So, wrapping this all up, what's the final verdict? Where does this leave us globally and personally?
Well, I think the consensus is pretty clear right now. AI in healthcare works best as augmented intelligence.
Augmented intelligence, meaning?
Meaning it's a powerful partner to human professionals, not a replacement for them.
Tool.
A very powerful tool. AI can crunch numbers, recognize complex patterns at superhuman speed, but humans provide the absolutely essential judgment, the empathy, the common sense.
The human touch.
Exactly. It's a dynamic duo, really.
So it's not this magic cure-all.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
But it is a powerful new instrument, one that can really redefine what's possible in healthcare.
But its potential.
Its potential for better, faster, more personalized care. That depends entirely on how carefully and thoughtfully we implement it.
Right. Balancing innovation with caution.
Setting robust standards, making sure fairness and privacy are absolutely paramount, and continuously educating healthcare workers on how to use these tools effectively and safely.
It sounds like a huge undertaking, but necessary. So maybe a final thought for you, our listener, to consider. As AI becomes more and more integrated into our health journey, from wearables to hospital systems, how might this reshape our very understanding of personal well-being or the nature of that doctor-patient relationship, and maybe even what it truly means to be healthy in a world where algorithms are playing such an increasingly vital role behind the scenes?
It's something to think about.
Artificial intelligence is rapidly evolving and expanding across the globe within healthcare. From remote clinics utilizing SMS chatbots to advanced hospitals streamlining stroke treatments with algorithms, AI is demonstrating its value in diverse settings. The overarching consensus is that AI functions most effectively as augmented intelligence, a powerful partner to human professionals. AI excels at processing vast amounts of data and recognizing patterns at superhuman speeds, while humans contribute critical judgment, empathy, and common sense. When implemented wisely, AI holds the potential to help healthcare systems deliver better, faster, and more personalized care to more people. This includes enabling earlier disease detection, freeing medical staff from burdensome administrative tasks, guiding surgeons with greater precision, and empowering patients to proactively manage their health. However, realizing these benefits hinges on careful and reasonable implementation. This necessitates setting clear standards for AI performance, ensuring fairness and privacy, addressing the black box problem of explainability, and continuously educating healthcare workers on how to effectively use these new tools. AI in medicine requires a cautious optimism with safeguards, excitement for its potential, coupled with vigilance to ensure it remains safe, equitable, and serves the best interests of all patients. Ultimately, AI is not a singular solution to healthcare's complex challenges, but it is a powerful new instrument in the medical toolbox, capable of improving health outcomes and saving lives on a global scale if managed correctly. This is AI Ascent with Dr. Jonathan Luckett. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Good day.